Welcome to FBB Forum. I'm very pleased to welcome a bodybuilding legend to the podcast, the stunning Michelle Brent. She's, I think, old school FBB fans like me might remember her as Michelle Ivers from back in the day.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
She has been competing since 1986 and got her pro card in 2012 at the NPC Universe. And thank you so much for joining me. It really is great to see you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. It's great because I wanted to do a few of these and get myself out there with, doing interviews and stuff. I know Dave Palumbo very well, and I want to eventually do one with him.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
but yeah, so I want to support you and like a female bodybuilding channel that helps support us in getting us out there more and to learn who we are as people, not just a person in a bathing suit on a stage.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely. That's part of my mission, kind of humanize the bodybuilders. I kind of always idolize y'all anyway, so it's great to be a part of this. So thank you.
Yeah.
So my first few questions were about how you got started in bodybuilding, and I was wondering if you had an athletic or sports background before you started in competing.
Well, yes, David, I sure did. I was an athlete all my life. I was actually technically supposed to be the boy in the family. So that's why I was named Michelle, because I was supposed to be named after my father, whose name was Michael. And so I was the third girl that came along, and my mom goes, "Oh boy, we're never going to get a boy." So I was named Michelle. And ironically, I just happened to be very athletic. And I had technically, I think my father's built. He was really, I'm a Sicilian, so we got that thick bodies. Yeah. And so I just started, and I felt like, okay, I think I could do this because I had a sports background from sports from high school and college, and then I didn't know what to do after that. So sure. I was always needing to do something physical because that's just always been part of my MO. So yeah.
So how did you end up getting started in bodybuilding, and who kind of convinced you to do your first contest?
It's it's so cool because I had known about, of course, lifting. I had very little bit of experience in like a weight room, you're talking let's see, when I was in college, in the 70s, 1970, and in high school, we never did because, we didn't have, the weight room for the women. Yeah. So, so I was like, I just started doing all the sports in high school, and then I was done with college, and I was like, okay, I didn't end up, didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing at the time. I was actually married to my first husband, and I had a job, but I was still wanting to do something physical. Yeah. So I ended up joining this gym that was like part of the mall that I worked at. I actually worked out at a cookie factory. I was like the manager of this cookie place, kind of like a Mrs. Fields. And this gal that worked with me, she goes, "Well, you want to join the gym?" Because I didn't really kind of want to do it by myself. So I said, okay. So I knew I had this this athletic background. And this is so funny, David, because there was this gentleman that would come like once a month, and he was buffed, he had muscle. And I'm like, wow, this guy's, athletic, and he kind of took a notice, but we didn't really say anything to each other. Yeah. So when I joined that gym, sure enough, he was there with his wife. They were the couple at the time that were just getting into, the bodybuilding women were just getting popular. They had the couples. So they actually did notice me when I did join that gym. And they said, "You could probably do this, this bodybuilding." I go, "Really? You think so?" So so they were kind of the ones that pushed me to do it. Great. And didn't know anything about, how to get prep for a show, or they just said, "Oh yeah, well, just stop eating." What? Stop eating? Because it was only like 3 weeks for this show. Yeah. And it was crazy. So they go, "Well, yeah, just do this and just do this cardio." And it was like back then, we didn't have these coaches and all, what we have now in, the palm of our hands. But so then I did it, I was really excited. And ironically, I had met my first husband there. That's where the Ivers name came. And my main name was actually Bruno, which is, very Sicilian, very Italian. Yeah. And so he took notice, and we got together, and then we ended up getting married. But and he pushed me to train. And I did my first show in 1986. It was called the, let's see, Santa Cruz Classic or something. I don't know. It was a big show. I mean, I didn't know anything about it, didn't know anything
Yeah.
about posing hardly. I kind of like looked it up. We kind of, looked it up together, or that couple, kind of showed me stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I hit that stage and the rest is history. I was like, I didn't even place either. It was like 11 of us and we were all grouped on the same, there wasn't really like weight classes. And I came in sixth, I think, or something. I didn't even make the night. I don't know what, but it was so much fun. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is interesting. And
Yeah.
the reason why I thought it was so much fun is because of the performance part. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh, we get to do, this little, performance thing.
Uh-huh.
And I've always loved to dance. I always was, I was actually really shy when I was young, believe it or not.
Uh-huh.
And but I loved, I loved to perform and dance, and always wanted to do that when I was younger. So this was kind of like part of what I was always wanted to do. So,
Sure.
and then it came in with being, muscular and athletic,
Yeah.
in the gym part, and then to perform on stage. And then I got hooked. I was
That's
hooked.
great. I remember
Yeah.
seeing you on ESPN, I think maybe like
Yeah.
1989. I bet that was kind of a thrill to be on
Oh my
ESPN.
God. Yeah. Remember that? Yeah, like I said, I came into bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding, when it was just starting to get popular. I
Yeah.
watched it on TV before that first show, and I did see that the was Olympia that year. And it was Corey. Um, she wasn't. She was her first Olympia she won. I think it was beating Rachel. I think it was, because I'm trying to think who she beat to.
Oh yeah, 1984. Yeah, she beat
Yeah,
Rachel.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Uh-huh.
was, yeah. And there was,
Uh-huh.
actually 83, because 84 was when Diana Dennis, I was watching the Nationals on TV, and it was
Yeah.
amazing because I saw her do her performance, and she did
Yeah.
this crazy thing where she rolled, because she was a beautiful performer,
Oh,
one of
I
the best
know.
posers to, ever. And she rolled on the stage, and I thought, wow, but she had hired one of the choreographer dancers from Cats. And that's
Oh,
what she was doing. She rolled on the stage like a cat, and I thought,
oh
God, that's
yeah.
so cool. I want to
That
do
was
something like
impressive.
that.
I like that too. She was amazing poser. She
But she was
yeah,
amazing. I remember
amazing physique
the
too.
spider web she had, and it was like she was climbing. Oh my gosh, she was amazing.
That's so
Um,
cool. Yeah.
so yeah, so that's how it really hooked me. I mean, I was like, I didn't really bring home a trophy that night, but I'm like, so naive and so like, oh, this is great. This is fun. Let's keep on doing this.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when I ended up my first nationals. It was 1986, because then I went on to do,
Oh yeah.
like I was telling you earlier about my trophy for the Cal State. So
Yeah.
that qualified me for my first nationals. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, well, let's do it. You're just like this little, you're talking 1986, David. And it was so popular. There was 30 girls on that stage in my
Yeah.
class alone. And it was Kathy Palio who had won overall.
Yeah. I remember
She goes
that.
by Tripoli now, Kathy Tripoli. And we're, I known her, knew her, but when I saw her on stage and her performance, I was like really
Yeah.
hooked. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And yeah, the rest is history. I wanted to compete again the next year, but ironically, I got pregnant. So I had,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
yeah, so I had my son, the next year. So then I made my comeback after that, and I
Yeah.
was hooked. I couldn't stop. It was just, I don't know. I think it's always that I want to say it's that goal, I mean, I think most women and men and athletes always need that goal, and to do something to, to get to the end game. And then it's over, and it's like, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting too. Back in the day, there was just one division. There was no wellness or figure and fitness.
Right.
It
I
was
mean,
just women's
I mean,
bodybuilding.
exactly. And I think I've seen it all. And throughout the years, I've seen so much happen in the sport. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, it was just us, and it was let's see, I think there was only the 3 classes at that time.
Yeah.
Then they went to the 4 classes, and then they
Mhm.
got, let's see, and then they got rid of it again, and then they went back to the 4. So I was always considered a middleweight. That very, very first nationals was actually a
Yeah.
lightweight. And what happened was I didn't make the top 15. I'll bet there was 30 girls, and there was actually 3 of us on stage, and it was like, why is there only 3 of us out of the 30? And I'm like, wow, what's going on? So what they were doing was they were actually picking the last person to be in that top 15, and I missed out.
Oh, I
So that's
see.
what that was. It was 3 of us left, like that were close for that.
Yeah,
But it didn't break my spirit. Being an athlete and persevering, and I know it's cliche, but my motto was never give up.
that's great.
I just never gave up. I just
Yeah,
had to finish that goal.
that's terrific. Um, before we started this interview, you mentioned about Masters Olympia. Is that when we're going to see on stage next, do you think?
Well, this is it. This is my praying hands. Yeah. Yeah. I would love to get the invite.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
I
I
hope
don't want to
so.
jinx it, but I'm like, how could they not pick me, right? I mean,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely. I really hope you do. That would be great.
I tried for the Rising Phoenix, with Wings of Strength, and a couple of times, and I didn't get it. And I
Hmm.
know, like Alina, I know Jake very well, but I understand they wanted the newer talent, the new
Hmm.
girls, and some of the
Hmm.
ones that had been in there already were top, like Hella and Victoria, not Victoria, what's her name? Virginia Sanchez. They're older, but they already had a good record, so they
Yeah,
wanted,
sure.
they wanted those girls to like draw the interest from the audience, but then they want the new girls, which is a good thing. We've got a
Yeah,
lot of good talent now with girls that we never thought that would compete in the open, women's bodybuilding. So
sure. Is there any state contests within the US this year that you wanted to compete into?
if my goal was obviously to hopefully get into the Masters Olympia,
Yeah.
and if I don't, I might have to kill someone. No,
Oh, I
no,
see. Uh-huh.
you can you can bleep that out.
No, no, yeah, no, no.
My husband's laughing in the back. No, I think I might go ahead, since I'm probably going to be kind of starting prep anyway, and since I went the 9 yards, to try to get into the Masters, I'm thinking maybe something in the summer. I was maybe thinking of Linda's show in Atlanta, because she has the
Yeah,
Masters division. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do the Masters, hey, let's go for it. Let's do the Open, one last time.
yeah, that'd be
We'll
great.
see.
Yeah,
I'll see how I feel, after the list comes out. But if I do
sure.
get the championship, I think that's it. I'm like, I'm done. I finally got my goal, and it's time to
Yeah.
retire.
Oh, I think it'd be great to get to Masters Olympia and get to
Yeah,
Romania. That'd be neat. It'd be a
yeah. I
cool
mean,
adventure too to go over Romania.
what's that now?
I think it'd be kind of a cool adventure to go to Romania.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'd
I
be
actually
exciting.
have another 2 couples that are like, one is like really, really. I mean, they're like our best friends, and then I have this other couple I met who own a gym, and this is so funny or ironic that they wanted to go to Romania. She's like, I've always wanted to go to Romania. I said, okay, well, let me get this, invite, and then we'll all go together. And so
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting because, yeah, I might as well make a vacation out of it. But I've always supported, and as you see me throughout the years, when Jake uh, helped supported the women in 2015, and kept it going with, starting this
yeah.
Rising Phoenix. My
Uh-huh.
husband and I, we were there like fans. I didn't, I didn't do the show. I wasn't, but I was there, helping them. And then with my
Yeah.
jewelry, and we'll talk about that later, I was helping out with like making little bracelets, and the colors for them. Oh no, I was
Uh-huh.
still doing my cookie business. I have my protein cookie business, and I
Okay.
put little labels like Isabel Trout. It was just, so I
Oh,
was like
wow.
the fan quote groupie, from day
Yeah,
one. And even if I'm not on stage, I'm always supporting, the sport. So
it's terrific. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, just a little hope and a prayer, because ironically, you did the interview with Leia, and Leia and I both have the same coach.
Oh,
So we're
yeah.
like, okay, yeah,
Uh-huh.
so I go, let's get this.
Yeah, that's true. I know she wants to go to Masters Olympia too, doesn't she, I think?
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think she's a shoe in. She's been doing very well.
Yeah.
And she won the New York Pro, went into the Rising Phoenix. She's been doing great in the Rising Phoenix. Went to Olympia,
Yeah.
so. So even though I've been around a long time, I got to, scrape and try to get in there.
Yeah, I
I did,
understand. I bet you'll get in though.
yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah. I did 6 shows last year, knowing that I was building myself up, and did, like 4 master shows to build up,
wow.
because, hoping. So we'll see. This will be I mean, I know it's cliche, but the dream come true, after
Yeah, I
after,
understand. That'd be
after so
awesome.
long.
I was curious, since you have had a long career in bodybuilding, like what was your favorite show that you competed in?
You know what was when the Masters Nationals came about in 2005 was the first year that Gary Udit, the promoter, had it open to turn pro. That was always my fave. I'd go every year. I would come in second, come in third, come in second, come in fourth, come in second.
Hmm.
And then my fallback show was always his North American, which was like 2 months
Yeah.
later.
Uh-huh.
So I did the North American, was one of my favorite shows too, because it was, I was like, okay, if I can't get in the Masters, let's try. And I mean, people don't know my record. I've had count them, 6 second place in North American alone.
Really?
Six,
Wow.
six. And then I
Wow.
finally got that win in 2010. And I was like, hey, I finally got but then, we still had to get the overall. So it was Monique Jones that year. So I still fell short of
Oh,
getting
yeah.
my pro card. I was like, what do I have to
Oh,
do?
oh no, that must be
It
kind
was
of,
crazy. And then
yeah.
there's been so many near misses, but you know what? As a true athlete, I didn't like, a couple times, yeah, maybe I'm like, wow, what happened? But
Mhm.
the professional true athlete that I am, let's go back next year. Let's go back next year. Let's go.
That's
They can't
cool.
get rid of me.
I bet.
So,
What was it like to get your pro card? I bet that was pretty exciting. And
well, you know what?
I know you worked
No,
hard
you know
and
what? I'm going to be honest and truly and transparent here.
yeah.
It was like, it was the craziest way I got it. After all those seconds, after that first and no overall, after so many near misses at USA, Nationals, North American. That's what I said. I said, well, let me go back to the universe. They have
Yeah.
masters now.
Uh-huh.
So I had my class, and believe it or not, it was uncontested. There was only I was in the 15 over class, and I'm like, oh dear, what are they going to do? Are they going to give me my pro card after all this time? So the promoter, didn't really know what was going on himself. And I said, well, I know the gal in the 45 and over didn't get her announced her pro card either. And she had 4 or 5 girls in her class, 3 or 4, and I was one of them. But I thought, oh dear. So we went to the promoter, as we saw, and who I'm known very well, a very long time. And
Yeah.
I go, so what happened? And he didn't even know, right? He's on the phone and he's like, oh. So he goes, I don't know what happened. For some reason, he was on the phone. I don't know. It could have been Mannion. I don't know. But about 2 seconds later, he goes, and he's still with the phone like this. He goes, Michelle, you got your pro card.
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
hallelujah.
Oh, I bet that was a thrill to learn that. Yeah.
So that was like the moment, that I fell to my knees, not on stage, And then they brought Gail and I back about, I don't know, half an hour later. And at least they did this. And then they brought us back and said, announced our pro card, not in the middle, like at the end. I'm like, we're like, hey. So
Oh
after
man.
all that, that's how I got my pro card.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know, it's crazy, but who
25
remembers
years
that, right?
later.
Yeah. And it was
Yeah.
25 years later. And I
Wow.
didn't, the only years I took off were when I had my son. I had opened my own gym. I opened my own gym in 1996. So 95, I took the year off, to get it, put together and open and all that. And a third year I didn't compete was because I had a hernia surgery. And that was like, something I didn't really do in the gym. It's just I had thin abdominal, wall. So I
Mhm.
said, well, let me get that fixed. So literally out of the 25 years, I had only not participated in a show, for 3 of those 5, 25.
Wow. That's amazing.
So
Wow.
yeah,
That's a lot.
it wasn't like, okay, 5 years I did something, and then 10 years I didn't do anything, and then 5 years, so to total that 25, it was truly every year almost.
I wonder if, do you know offhand, do you have like the record for the most longevity in the sport? I think,
It has to be.
I
I
would
mean,
think
it has
so.
to be. Um,
Wow.
I had officially did retire in 2017, And I still supported the women. That's when I still had that's when I just started the jewelry business. Brent, we'll talk about that. But so I was always going to, like I said, the Rising Phoenix, and supporting them and doing things for them. And then in 2020, when Jake announced that they're going to bring back Olympia, the women to the Olympia, I said, well, I kind of don't think I'm ever going to get there, but at least it's, the opportunity to just do a show to say, okay, I'm trying to vie for the Olympia. Yeah. So I came out of retirement in 2019, 2020, when COVID hit.
Oh, and
yeah. Here's Michelle. Oh, no, she's going to compete. Oh, no. And I competed, the year of COVID. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. I know that was kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I never, it was later on I contacted it, but that year was, everything was good. I was always stayed healthy and, made sure I stayed healthy, after shows, but so that's when I come out of retirement, but I think this is going to end up being it. I think so. It's got to, I think I feel it. I'm going to get this championship, be able to do it, and finally close the chapter.
Yeah, sure. I understand.
Not the chapter, I mean the novel, the Bible.
Oh, I totally understand. Yeah. No, that's great that you had that longevity, and it's really admirable, I think.
And I have to say, to pat myself on the back, I've never broken a bone, never sprained, never tore anything in the gym. Not one muscle, bone, nothing from the gym. Any other sport. The only thing I did was it's kind of a fascia. It's like a rubber band where underneath my right lat, the tendon kind of stretched, but that wasn't even in the gym. And it's another story I'll tell you later. I mean,
sure.
It's kind of a funny story, but so I pride myself that I've never had metabolic damage, and never all this crazy stuff.
That's great.
But I know my limits. I'm starting to feel the little aches and pains now, and listening to my body. And if I can't train one day, I don't. And if I do train lightly, I'm very blessed that I have a really nice home gym. That I don't even go to the gym hardly anymore anyway. I just go down to my garage. I have a full blown setup. So and I kind of don't like really to be around people anymore.
Oh yeah. No, it is. It's kind of nice having your own equipment, your own gym.
Well, not so much that. It's just, you get your moods. Oh, you don't have to put makeup on, I have to go in my PJs and get on my cardio.
You have to wait for equipment too. You're just right there.
Right. Yeah. So it's just I don't know. I've always loved the challenge. So
that's great.
I'm glad.
I'm gonna forward to where we talked about your jewelry business, and I was curious, it's called Brent's Bling. It's
Brent's Bling right here, boom,
right
boom,
there.
boom.
Yeah,
it's probably backwards.
Oh no, I can see it fine. And
I actually got a piece on right here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Beautiful.
It's a choker style, and it's got the 45-pound plate. And so I custom it because I had a lady that I know that helped sell the jewelry for me in her gym in California requested something like this. So I do custom stuff too.
Wow.
I don't actually make the jewelry itself, but I'll get the pendants and I'll get the raw chain, and then I put it together. And then stuff like, I have little beaded stuff. I have like this.
Yeah.
I do just a good and a beautiful array of more fitness stuff than anything, but I do have other requests, like people like this gal had a few pieces she bought, like eagles. No, it was owls. So I got this piece where I found an owl and then I attached it, and she actually likes owls and skulls. So it was like cool. Weird combo, right? But I put the little eagle, and then I had the little skull, so it's kind of cool. So I could do stuff like that. Awesome. Earlier I was saying, and this makes me with a tear in my eye, I'm very proud of what I did. When Jake before he brought back the Olympia, I believe that was 2019, the year before, he had the women, he collected almost every past, Dunlop, Kiki Aloma even, Andrula Blanchett, of course, Iris was there, a good amount of them, and I made bracelets for them
Oh
in the
yeah,
Wings of Strength colors, and I
nice.
had little they're like little medallions. I had something like this hanging, and I
Uh-huh.
had their names and the year that they won the Olympia
Oh, nice. That's
engraved in
terrific.
them. Yeah,
That's
so I
really
did,
cool.
so I did, stuff like that.
Do
Men's
you,
jewelry, unisex, women's. I do anklets. I mean, it's fun. I started it because I had a friend that had a couple beaded bracelets, and then she goes, I go, how much do you want? I'll support you. And she's like, and told me, and then we got it, and one of them broke, and I fixed it, and that the rest was history. I said, well, maybe I could
wow.
put a dumbbell on one, or maybe I could do that. So yeah, so I love
You-
it. I used to do a protein cookie, and that was fun, but I got a little tired of that. So it was like, you know what?
Yeah.
So I started the business, and it wasn't really a business. I was kind of doing it, like under the table kind of thing, because I was getting
Uh-huh.
close to retirement. So last year, my husband Bill, he goes, well, you want to make it a full business? I was like, okay, if you do the business end, which that's him. He's the business savvy, personality and know-how, and I'm the creator. So that's how we started it as a true business with brentsbling.com is the website. And it's great because his side of the table, our room where we do everything, our computer room is all, his paperwork, and he's
Uh-huh.
diligently doing these videos, and here, I got, glue all over me, and
Oh, I see.
uh,
You,
so it's a great combo. We're a good team. We have been married 19 years, so I guess it's working out.
that's awesome. Do you set up at bodybuilding shows as a vendor? Like it has,
Yes, I
yeah.
do. We do. It's fun. We have a blast. We just set it up, set our whole display. We do a bit better right now, and there we're trying to get the website, but a lot of people visually like to see things. So it was like uh, let's do this show, and then we go to Gold's Gyms. We set up a little table. A few of them allow us just to hang out, and we both got great personalities. So it's like,
Yeah,
we're not just sitting there like, oh, and Bill's got all his bling on, and I'm like,
that's
so yeah,
great.
we do. It's fun. We have our first one is I think next month here locally. I'm in Virginia. We have what's called a DMV area,
Okay,
and there's one locally. Yeah,
that's
but
great.
yeah.
Now, I was curious, have you ever worked as like as a coach for fitness or lifestyle?
Me personally,
Yeah, I'm just curious.
my big gig was, and when it first started in 2010, when physique first came out, was I did a lot of choreography, believe it or not. And the
Oh
coaching
yeah.
part is tough. I mean, it's a lot of, I rather do, like I said, I love the performance. So I ended up doing a lot of choreography and a lot of posing coaching. I still do if someone asks. I don't really advertise it because there's so many now.
Yeah.
But I wasn't right there at the beginning and had one of the first posing clinics for women's physique because they didn't know how to do the poses, because they do them
Oh,
different, how they
yeah.
have the open hands. And I was
Uh-huh.
doing stuff like that anyway. A lot of us women bodybuilders that had more finesse and more creativity, we would do poses like that. So,
Sure.
but no, yeah, it's tough to be like a coach. I've helped a couple of people, but uh, I'd rather be part of the team, and I'll be the posing part of the team.
Yeah, sure. I understand.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Now I was curious, you mentioned you have the one son, but do you have any other
yeah.
kids?
No, no, just one. Yeah, he's
And
we're exactly 30 years apart. He's 30. Where am I? I'm 65. Yeah, that's what I am. And he's 35. He's 35. Yeah.
does he
When
have,
I met Bill, Bill's, of course, I said I had the first marriage. When I met Bill, I was already in like my mid 40s, and it was like, oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, so we have cats. We have three beautiful cats. Those are our rescue babies. So
Do you have any
I'm a,
grandkids?
I'm a cat lady.
Oh yeah. Did do you have any grandkids though, or
No, no,
no?
my son
Uh-huh.
hasn't gotten married. I'm not pushing them, but
Oh no, that's cool.
he has this beautiful girlfriend he's been with for 4 or 5 years, and I just take his time, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm a one and done, and then I still got zero, and
Oh no, that's cool. Is he is your son supportive of your bodybuilding career? I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah,
all he
yeah,
knows, right? I mean, that you've been
yeah. He
bodybuilding.
was actually born, believe it or not, almost literally, born in the gym. I mean, after I had him, I was helping out a friend with a gym that I ended up having. I had my own gym in 1996 called Bayside Fitness in Monterey, California. And before that was called Mike's Gym. And when I was married at the time, we both were working and we were working the gym. So he was literally in the back of, because it was a small gym, it was only like 5,000. So he was, like in his blanket,
Oh, that's so cool.
So literally he was almost like, the mascot of the gym.
Oh, that's adorable. That's so
he
cool.
never he never got into he loves sports, but he really never got into it. Proud of him. He went into the military and did 2 tours in Afghanistan. So
Okay.
I'm very proud that he did that. So
Yeah, that's really
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I want to warn
He's
you, we only got about 4 minutes left. I want to
oh
ask you
wow,
just one quick
wow, going
question.
fast.
I know it went by fast. I'm limited with Zoom time too.
I know. Well, we could do another one.
Yeah, definitely.
When I get that darn invite, right? When I get that invite.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. Um,
Yeah.
I was curious, just what would you do to improve the sport of bodybuilding, and what would you do to make the sport better? And I think you bring a lot of perspective because you have been competing for so
Yeah,
long.
yeah. I would just say follow suit with I wish, we always say this that, behind closed doors or whatever you want to call it, that we could have a new, like guard or whatever, changing of the guard, so to speak, of people, with the IFBB MPC. I mean, we just need fresh people in there. And I always had said jokingly, well, I'd love to be in one of those committees because I would do this, this, and this. Number one, I would just still be more in tune with the athletes, what they need. I know we don't have a union. We don't. It'd be beautiful if we could ever try to get this where you actually have it. It's a real career where you could have insurance. That's always been said, but easier said than done. But
Yeah,
just to keep people interested in it, I think, David. The camaraderie. Jake has done a wonderful job to bring that camaraderie back to the
sure.
women, the bodybuilders,
I agree.
and to answer any questions, with new women. I'm always open to, give them suggestions or say this, or, guide them the right, correct way, um,
Yeah,
to, uh, to enjoy the sport, to love it, not just to say, okay, I want to do it because I want to lose weight, blah, blah, which is good. You have a goal, that's great.
yeah,
Um, but to look at the big picture, nutrition, have people more aware of the nutrition part of it, the supplement part of it,
yeah,
and just just do more seminars. I think we need to do more seminars, like
yeah.
panels, and
Uh-huh.
we have these posing clinics, which are great, that's for the posing, but we technically need something like, so you want to be a bodybuilder, kind of,
Mhm.
thing, and that would be the seminar. And
Yeah, that's a
you
good
know
idea. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah, and not just, the posing, just, the whole, break it down, not just to be a competitor, but to learn how, in the nutrition part especially. I mean, I always harp on that. um yeah, so that's
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, just proof positive at 35 years in the sport that it can be done correctly. It can be done and be enjoyed. It can be done and still love it, even though you're not competing anymore.
yeah,
I think this new era is like, and then of course, with social media, it's all like, the pressure of looking good on, and the social media part, and like always looking good. Well, you can't always look good. It's great to have
yeah,
a picture of you. The other day, a friend of mine who competes, it was great. It was very heartwarming. I want to say heartbreaking, but heartwarming that she just had a picture of herself. She was just like, bad day.
hmm,
But she was true to herself and said, hey, this is the way I
hmm.
look today.
Yeah. Oh, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's
kind
kind of
of,
tough to do, but
yeah,
and I
no,
usually don't filter. I don't do all that crazy stuff, but I think
yeah,
that's what's kind of hurting, the not just the sport of bodybuilding, but everything. And that's another subject. But
sure.
yeah, yeah, I just love to be still a good role model.
Yeah.
Even I have people, that are teenagers, older ladies, men, you know, they just, they approach me and then they go, and then I love it now that I'm older. I can say, well, I'm proud to say, okay, well, this is how old I am, and this is why, I stayed, so long in the sport and be a good role model.
That's great. I wanted to say we're gonna get this posted up on YouTube relatively soon, and then
Yay.
I'll share your Instagram. My
Yeah.
phone's going off there.
Yeah, I wanted to give before you go real quick,
Yeah.
we wanted to give you a code for any viewer here, or even you could put it on the FFB forum.
Yeah.
That it's what is it, hon, again? 10% off. 10% off, and what's the code? FBB forum. FBB forum.
Oh, great. Okay.
And then 10. Yeah, FBB forum, then 10, and then they can get a discount on our website.
FBB forum 10. Okay, great. That's terrific. Yeah, and I'll make sure.
Yeah, we got to collaborate.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I think we're going to get cut off, but I really appreciate getting to talk with you, and thank you so much.
Yeah, great. We'll do it again, definitely.
Yeah.
You got to get an arm in there.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.